Merch alert.
That's right, you heard her. We have merch now. If you're looking for a mug, a hoodie, a shirt, a blanket, we're your people. Be sure to check out our exclusive I Was a Bravo fan before Scandal tees. They will be perfect to wear while watching the VPR reunion.
Check out the link in the description of the podcast or our Instagram bio.
Hello, y'all. We are back with another episode of Bravo We're Black. And y'all know it's Saturday. It's Saturday, right? That this episode comes out. Yes. So this is the Bravo episode. Unfortunately, Kaya could not join us today, but we send her love and well wishes. We're sending her prayers as well. But we are joined by one of our Bravo besties, the bad boy. Listen, he's all over. He's international. It's Ryan Bailey.
Yeah, by the way, please, and by the way, anybody listening, don't turn off immediately. This is going to be good. Like, don't, I know Kaya's not here, and that's a bummer, but we'll have a good time in Kaya's name. I swear. I woke up to Kaya's text today, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm there. Let's do this.
Listen, and we're so excited. Of course, we wanted you, all three of us, but we are equally excited to have you here today with just me and you. And
This is great.
I believe the listeners are going to stick around because we got a lot to say about OC. We got a lot to say about Jersey. I don't have too much to say about Dubai. I'm not even gonna lie about that. But we are gonna pass by Atlanta as well because there's a few things brewing in Atlanta. First off, I want to ask you, how are you, Ryan?
I mean, listen, it's been a tough year. It's like mom passed away about 10 months ago. And I mean, it's just been probably the most challenging year of my life. But I mean, that's what I think what's been amazing about doing the podcast that I do, or even just knowing people like you guys. It's kind of helped me when times have been tough. So I don't know. I just kept my head down and kept working and trying to find things that make me laugh, which you can find tons of those things at Bravo. So yeah, I'm kind of, I mean, like, listen, I got back from, like, I had to do physical therapy for my shoulder. Like, my whole body's falling apart. Like, it just, and that's the joy of podcasting. The physical therapist was like, do you lean over a lot? And I was like, yeah, I lean over by a mic all the time. And they're like, you need to stop that.
So, question: do you go to the same person as like the OC ladies? Because I feel like that's really big. Like every other episode, they're there.
No, yeah, it would be a little bit of a hike for me. No, I'm probably going to one of the shittiest people because my insurance isn't great. So it's like they're like, yeah, just move this band right and left. Okay, there you go. So I wish I could go to the people that the OC ladies go to.
Listen, that's just as good. I feel like that kind of works too. You just have to be consistent with the exercises. Is your shoulder feeling better?
God, this is the most boring thing ever. But like what it is, like a pinched nerve in my neck that like makes my left arm like pins and needles a lot. So they're trying to strengthen other muscles in my neck. It is like the weird, like that's the fun, and people listening, that's the fun part about getting older is that it's like completely this really messed up adventure that you didn't want to go on. And you're like, oh, your body slowly falls apart. Like your body slowly falls apart as you get older. And your parents told you this all along, but now you're like waking up to like the realities of it. You're like, oh, my knees are shot. That's amazing. I feel like Shannon Beador right now.
I was just about to say, listen, I wasn't going to say it, but I was definitely thinking it. This is very relatable to Shannon Beador because she goes through the same things all the time.
I mean, she goes through it every season. I mean, like, listen, I have not run my car into a house yet, so that's like, thank the Lord.
Listen, okay. No, oh gosh, we're gonna get into it. So, how have you been feeling? First, I'm gonna ask you about the rumor that's circulating when it comes to Phaedra possibly joining Housewives of Atlanta again. How do you feel about that?
I feel great about it. Like I like listen, of course I would love like I'm okay with it. I'm of two minds. Like, at least Candy's not there. Because if Candy was there and Phaedra came back, we would really need a reckoning over how Phaedra left in the first place, or how, like, there was a real issue that happened, and I'm still kind of interested in that conversation. But I think Phaedra has proven from Ultimate Girls Trip to The Traitors what a force she is and how entertaining she is. She killed it on Married to Medicine, which I started watching because of you guys, by the way. And like, I think I don't know. I have a real soft spot for Phaedra. It's interesting though, like when I posted something about it, and then my DMs were flooded with like, yeah, but she did that to Candy. That's disgusting. And I'm like, yes, it is disgusting. Like, but at the same time, every one of these shows, even Orange County today, these ladies have done disgusting things. And by the way, us at home, me, you listening, we've all done disgusting things. It's about trying to actually move forward. And I would love that conversation eventually between Candy and Phaedra, because Candy was completely wronged. But I also want Real Housewives of Atlanta to thrive and succeed. And whatever happened with Kenya, put them in a place where I think the show is in some sort of jeopardy. And I want it to thrive.
I agree. I do want it to thrive. And I've also been seeing a lot of comments about that. The the Candy and Phaedra thing. They also compared it to the Kenya and Brittany thing that's going on right now. And I stand by what I said. I do feel like those are two different issues, but I do see where some of you guys are coming from. Uh, but I would like her to come back to Atlanta. I feel like it would be a lot better with her coming back to Atlanta than her being on Married to Medicine, which doesn't mean like I enjoy her on Married to Medicine, but I would also like to see frickin' Frack again.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm just kind of, well, by the way, I'm still curious. Like, I still do not have a definitive account of what happened with Kenya. Like, I still, like, every week there's like some new piece of information that doesn't
Mhm.
seem to add up. So I'm very confused about all of that. But yeah, like, I would love to see freaking Frack. Like, I want Portia coming back to the show to be something that's amazing. I don't want them to be like, well, we're halfway through the season and now we have to edit all this footage and we're screwed. Now, of course, like, do you ever do this and go back watch old seasons of like these shows? Because
Oh, all the time, yeah.
I was watching clips of like Real Housewives of New Jersey from like older seasons. And I was talking to the audience this week. There was like one clip of Rosie drinking with Giudice and getting like hammered. And like little Gia was in like sixth grade, and they were doing like state capitals. And like Rosie and Joey were like, hey, I fucking know that. I know the capital of that. And Gia's like, where's the Grand Canyon? He's like, I don't know, Delaware. And it was like so simple and so stupid, but at the same time, it was based on real relationships, and it wasn't based on glam. And like, I don't know, like, I want to get back to like real personal relationships and interactions. And I do love when cast members know each other. Phaedra has a shorthand for this show and a shorthand
Mhm.
for certain cast members. And I want to lean more into that. I want to watch real people have real conversations and not just have it be about who got the best glam, where's the best cast trip. Like, I want it just small moments like that.
I agree. I agree. And seeing her on Married to Medicine, it's like I know they're all in Atlanta, so of course she knows of them and she has a relationship with certain ladies. Like I know her and Quad knew each other and they had a relationship prior. Uh, but I feel like it's only so much we're going to see of her on there. I'm not speaking for this upcoming season, but I know last season it was kind of hard because it's like you're trying to mesh her in with these ladies while also dealing with what's going on with Quad in the group. So it's
Well,
like,
they went to her funeral home. They used
yeah,
Phaedra's funeral home so Quad could come out of a casket. I was like, that's hysterical. But there's only so many times you can actually use that trick.
I thought it was really good. And a lot
Yeah.
of people said after that particular scene that she kind of fell back in the background and became like a just like a side character in the sense that really didn't speak. And I can see where they're coming from. I do agree with that, but I do think that she's trying to like I said, fit in while also not overstepping her boundaries and messing up like what's going on the show. It's kind of
Yeah.
scary being a newbie on a show that a lot of people watch, a lot of people like that cast for who they are. in those particular people. And then it's like also knowing what you did on Housewives of Atlanta. It's kind of like, where do you fit in that? So I think her going back to Housewives of Atlanta, or even her doing both, I think would be really good, because they're also hinting at the fact that she might be able to take on both, which I have
Yeah,
never
yeah.
seen. I've never seen that before.
It's like Michael Jordan. He played baseball and
Yeah.
basketball.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how they fit that in. If so, that's gonna be like, she's gonna be the first housewife to ever do that, to be on like two franchises at one time.
Well, it's interesting. I think like I wrote off, and I think a lot of people wrote off Phaedra after that incident on Atlanta. But then I remember on that Ultimate Girls Trip, I think it was season 2 at the Berkshires, when
Yeah.
Phaedra was just so entertaining. On top of like, it gave you a different appreciation for a lot of those ladies. That's why I liked Ultimate Girls Trip. And I was like, oh wow, here's somebody that's like, she's praying at every meal. She's
Mhm.
funny. She's mixing it up. And then when you saw her on The Traitors, I felt like she exploded. Like she knew the assignment. She was like, growling some of her lines. And I thought, man, you can put Phaedra anywhere and she can be entertaining. It's just that how do we reconcile that with the behavior on that last season of Atlanta?
Because it
And
needs
do
to
we
be
chalk,
addressed.
well, it does. And do we chalk
Yeah.
it up with we're human, we grow, we make these awful, horrible mistakes. And on top of that, we're on a show that sometimes encourages insane things, which is potentially the argument Kenya is going to use as well.
Yeah, because they are talking about the role that producers play in a lot of this stuff, because it's like sometimes they do whisper in their ear and they're like, hey, maybe you should do this. And I'm not saying that's what they did, like, but allegedly that's what they're doing with a lot of this stuff. Like they go to the
Yeah, but
girls and they're
Aaron,
like,
do you ever think if
mhm.
you were like you and Kay are producing the show, like there are like I do understand sometimes a producer's angle of like they have to like have a show. They have to say, hey, do you know this person said this about you? What do you think about that? Like there are certain things and certain elements that I understand. I just think that sometimes it's gotten so extreme. Or then on top of it, if you take
Yeah.
like Brandy thinks that she has to be at a 12 all the time because we've all kind of laughed about it or encouraged it. But I kind of like rail against that because I've liked Brandy in her quieter moments. I've liked Kenya watching her raise her daughter. Like it doesn't always have to be the most insane thing. I feel like, yeah, maybe that's
I
planted
agree.
in their ear, but also I think the audience responds to that. So I think it's like this mix of both. And you have to really kind of follow your own, I guess, drummer and try to make sure you're not. I mean, and by the way, this year, especially because of the reality reckoning, they like from an NBC Universal standpoint, they have to really be careful of what they do because everybody sues them now.
Yeah, you're right. And I've been arguing this on the podcast for some time, Ryan. So I definitely get your point. I like to see Kenya when she's more toned down. And I also like to see Phaedra when she's less activated in mommy mode. But I also like to see her activated too. But I do think that there's a balance. And what they used to argue about back in the day has changed so much. Like you would see even that scene, I don't know if you remember, I think it was like third season when Candy came in, when they went to Sheree's party, and Nene and Lisa Wu had to walk in, and then they checked their energy and they walked out of the room and came back in. Like I miss simple stuff like that.
Yeah.
But now it's like lawsuits and court and people
But
suing
that's
each
like
other
we
and
add
like,
like low level celebrity in there and we add
yeah.
money in there. And it's like you're never going to be able to recapture the times before they were somebody. And like also, like I keep thinking about Kenya in terms of like, do you believe Kenya is a villain?
I believe she plays the villain.
Yes. Yeah. So that's
Mhm.
the thing I've been thinking about a lot because like Lala was going off on some BS about like how everything's negative now and stuff. And like, Lisa Rinna and like kind of, and I think Kenya went in there knowingly playing a villain. And like that's what from the jump, she was like that. And
Yeah.
she's one of the first people that made me appreciate villains because I thought she did it in such a unique way. Whereas sometimes if you take like Lala, because some people called Lala a villain in this last season, and I was like, I don't really subscribe to that because I think if she's she never leaned into playing a villain. Like she just seemed really kind of confused, trying to play both sides, but not really doing it deftly or intelligently. Like even Lisa Rinna, earlier seasons, Lisa Rinna, I thought, wow, this is a good villain until she became like a caricature of herself in the final season. But Kenya is
Yeah.
somebody that I was like, I respect her as a villain. It made me appreciate the archetype, the character type of villain.
I think some people just play villains really good too. Some people are
Yeah.
destined to play or be a villain. I think Gabrielle Union is also one of those people. Just not to get sidetracked because I know that's not Housewives, but there are certain people that are destined to play villains because I don't know if it's her facial expressions or maybe her personality, but I think that's just why they keep going back to her. Nene is able to play both, but I don't know. Some people are able to play one or the other. I think Kenya can do both as well.
Well, that's what you hope for, is like a long
Yeah.
enough run on these shows where you can do both at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully we get to see that. Hopefully we get to see a different side of Phaedra and we see more of her life as a mom. I also do I stand with you guys. I don't know what else we're going to see from Phaedra because I don't know what else she has going on. Is she dating anybody? I don't know. I have
I
no
don't want
idea.
her, I don't want her to feel like I feel like she's entertaining regardless, where she can jump into a situation and just throw out some pros or like just some thoughts on whatever's happening. And that's great. I don't want her to have to make up a boyfriend. I don't want to have
Yeah.
her I want to actually know what's going on in her life. Like I want to see the conversation she has with Portia about Portia's divorce. That would be hysterical. Her and Portia talking about men.
That's honestly the only role that I could see her playing, Ryan. Honestly, because I do believe her life is pretty simple. Like she raises her kids. I just imagine her watching Snapped in the ID channel when she goes home, and like maybe making a peach cobbler or some shit. And then, but that's what I see for her. I don't really see too much excitement. I just think that she would play well with the whole Portia thing because Portia doesn't really have an OG standing beside her. So with Phaedra, we would get that magic, like that old school OG Housewives magic
Yeah, I
for
mean, you can
Atlanta,
already
I
see
should say.
it. You can already see it in the trailer, and it does that thing where they're already like midway through a season, is that they can't introduce like another brand new character. You need to have somebody like Phaedra where there's audience recognition, where audiences can go, "Oh, I have all of these
Mhm.
feelings about you going into this season." That's why I think a lot of people are excited about OC, is because we've had so many seasons with these ladies on top of new drama going into this season, and I think it does so much of the work in publicizing these shows for them. It's like we're all going to tune into OC because it's had 18 seasons. We're already going to tune into Atlanta. Then the Kenya stuff happens and we all kind of get like dismayed. But then if you throw Phaedra in there, you're like, ooh, that could work. That could be interesting.
Listen, now you're getting me excited about OC because OC was so good, guys. That's all I
Yeah,
can
it
think
really
about. All
was.
I can think about is OC. So wrapping up with Atlanta, I want to ask you your thoughts on what's been going on with Simon and Portia. Do you think that well, I
He
know
has
it's
erectile
getting messy.
dysfunction.
Yeah, well, yeah.
No, well, listen, I mean, who knows? By the way, do I think that he has erectile dysfunction? I think probably there was a bad night because that's probably just not being made up out of thin air.
Mhm.
But it's so classic Portia to put that out there so many times in social media, and he's pissed about it. But I would also say be careful. Like that's not like it's a reality show up to a point, and then you're like, he has real money. He could make your life a living hell. And it seems like he's not very happy about the jokes about
Mhm.
his erectile dysfunction. So I'm like, we all love it because it's like messy and drama and it's kind of funny. But then you have to think about who you're doing that to, and that things have a way of coming back around.
Right.
And I just hope Portia is ready when it does, because I don't think that dude makes empty threats.
I mean, I feel like with Simon though, with that particular thing, she should be safe just because she didn't say any names, and he just kind of jumped on the bandwagon and assumed that it was about
Ah,
him.
shit,
And
that's great.
in
Yeah.
which it's like with knowledge, we know that she's talking about him. It's being implied, but it's like technically she didn't really say his name. and they make a bunch of like empty tweets and posts against each other, like subliminal shit. And I think he does the same thing on his end, to be fair. Like
Yeah, I mean,
every
like
day I see him posting
he's
something about
messy.
Portia.
He has like housewife tendencies.
He does. Did you have an idea or maybe like an inkling that he would be this messy?
Yeah, of course. I mean, like, just in the pomp and circumstance in which he lives his life, I think there is a showmanship to that like relegates itself right into housewives territory. And, it's like, this is the car, this
Mhm.
is the outfit, this is like, it's always that kind of like elevated status. And I'm not comparing him to Heather Dubrow, but there are certain Heather Dubrow tendencies with Simon, I feel like, where I think he's very proud of what he has and what he's achieved. And it is interesting because you would think also, like, if you are that successful and that well off, you wouldn't mess around with this stuff, and you would just kind of like, dirt off my shoulder. But he
Right.
really seems to care. Like, he really seems to want to get into it. And it's like, dude, you're not going to win a social media battle with Portia, and you're not a housewife. So don't act like a housewife. Do your business behind the scenes if you want to do it at all. But why do you have to
Yeah.
respond to everything? Because it's like, you're not doing a TV show, man.
Yeah, it's to the point now where I just don't understand the antics behind it. Like I could see why maybe Portia would be doing it because she's a reality star. Like we've seen her on we want to see her on reality TV, but we do not want I don't want to see Simon on reality TV.
No, I mean, go over to like We TV or something. Be like, do the Simon
No.
Show after Love After Lockup or something.
Not okay. Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, do it after so I can just like not watch it. Um But yeah, so that's Atlanta, guys. I'm ready to talk about OC. So much is going
Yeah.
on. I want to say that this is Shannon Beador's season. This is going to be Shannon Beador's season. This is Shannon Beador's show. This is the Shannon Beador show. That's just what it is.
Well, I mean, I agree with you, but I agree with you in the sense of it's her show because it's literally I was thinking about what I was going to say on the podcast about this because I was like, it's literally her. It's like an endurance test. Like, how many bad things, some of which she's created, can be thrown at Shannon Beador to see if she survives? It's like a game of Survivor. Can
Yeah,
Shannon Beador survive this season? Because it's not only did she get like shit faced and wreck her car into a house, all of that shit. Alexis Bellino is back and is dating John Jansen and calls him Johnny J, and they have sex all night. Like, in what flippin' world is that ever? Like, that is disgusting on every
I hate
level.
it.
It is horrific. And no matter what you think of Shannon Beador, it's downright cruel. And there's no way that people like you're fighting over John Jansen, for the love of God. Like, that's the part Alexis is coming onto this show acting like she's got a prize. I'm like, girl, it is John Jansen. Like, you obviously have not watched Real Housewives of Orange County. This dude, he's fine, but he's not this prize. Like, my God.
That's what I don't get. That's what I don't understand when it comes to Alexis Bellino. Because her whole thing is like, I'm like, okay, usually when someone comes back to a show, they have so much going on. It's like they have a new business, they have a new kid, they have a new boob job or some shit. Like she has John Jansen. That's the storyline coming on the show. She's like, yeah, I met John Jansen. I've known him for 2 seconds, but it's like I love him. I'm ride or die for him. And that's what that's what I'm gonna be here talking about with you guys, like
Well,
all season.
well, and the thing is, like, I'm so curious because that's when you really kind of think, man, these producers are devious. Because, Alexis Bellino has always been like in consideration to come back on the show at certain
Mhm.
times since she's been gone. But like Alex Baskin, it's Evolution Media that produces this, the same people as Vanderpump Rules, the same people as Beverly Hills. And you just sometimes wonder, there had to have been a closed door meeting of like, she's dating John Jansen. Yes. She'll work fine this season. Yes. Shannon Beador. Let's see if she can handle
Why do they
this.
hate Shannon so much though?
It
Because it's
really
like they
seems like
have
they hate
to
her.
hate her. They don't like her. But I don't know. It's like at the same time, maybe they do like her. Because
Well,
if
okay,
anything, this show is making me look at Shannon Beador a lot differently. I feel like we're seeing, like you said, it's an endurance test. We're seeing if she holds her head up high when she comes in these events, if she can face Alexis Bellino head on, and she's doing it.
Well, you always too, like, I always talk about this over the years of like, you can feel like if you're one of those ladies, like, and if they make the mistake of really all turning against Shannon, like we know Tamra definitely does, right? And we
Oh,
know
yeah.
Alexis doesn't like Shannon. But if the rest of those ladies put Shannon on an island, you're just going to make her stronger. It's like Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's like, yeah, Darth Vader, kill me. You're just going to make me more powerful. And that's what you do. It's like the same thing happened on the Valley with Kristen Doty in a sense. Like Janet didn't invite her up to Big Bear and everybody was like, "Oh, come on." Like you kind of then were curious about Doty. Like you might put Shannon in a position that will just give her more power. Now Shannon is weirdly the only one of that cast, well, that's not true, but doesn't seem very power hungry. Like the difference between Tamra and Shannon is like vast in the sense that Tamra is like a really great housewife, but she's a certain type of housewife. She's a housewife that like makes moves. She plays it like a competition reality show, but Shannon Beador just is herself, warts and all. We see all of her bad side. We see her good
And
side.
it works.
She's not, yeah, but she's not trying to play a character.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the audience can relate to her is that, you know, Shannon's in crisis and you root for her because you know there's a good person there. Like even last season at the reunion, she had a really bad performance, Shannon Beador. And then after that, she ran the car into the house, like pretty much like very quickly after the fact. And you're just kind of curious where she is, how she's picked herself back on the feet. Cause I kept thinking like, I would not be able to go into that situation after the year I've had. I wouldn't be able to film with these ladies. And then for Tamra to kind of like, what seems like essentially turn her back on Shannon because she has certain judgments about what she's done is wild to me. And that's why I would think Tamra is a career housewife. Her true love is the show. It's not Shannon Beador. It's Real Housewives of Orange County. So like she's in there making these moves, but I think Shannon personalizes it to such a degree because she truly loves Tamra. She's like, Tamra, I thought you were one of my best friends in the world. And Tamra, it's like another day job.
Yeah, because that's how Shannon looks at it. Shannon's like, this isn't really a show. This is my fucking life. Like, yes, it's a show, but this is my life. And you are my friends. Even at the beginning, she's like, you know, I've been going through this shit. And it's like, yeah, I made this mistake or, you know, whatnot. But I haven't heard from any of them. Like, she's and I do understand where she's coming from. I kind of relate to her in that sense. Because after a while, after being on the show for that long, I feel like naturally you would be like, okay, you don't even pay attention to the cameras anymore. Like, these are your friends. This is what's going on. And when they don't support you, that's the first thing that you notice.
Yeah, I mean, and it's got to feel really, really like you got to feel really isolated, really alone. And that's why I'm saying it's going to be so interesting to see how Shannon reacts to all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that scene with Alexis and Shannon, and Alexis like, there's the door, Shannon Beador. And like,
I don't
like
know. She kind of ate
cricket. No, that's like that. She was practicing that.
She absolutely practiced it, but I do feel like I did chuckle when she said it. I'm not gonna lie.
I did because, well, I chuckled because I thought what went into that line. I thought of her rehearsing it. I thought of her, you know, trying out different variations of it. Of like, oh, I see there's a door. Maybe you should take it, Shannon. The door. Like, I just thought of it like very funny because it's a very housewife line that you're like, she walked away going, I served today, John Jantz. Johnny J, guess what I told Shannon today? And I just thought it was funny. But like, if that's where we're starting, that scene at the end, then we've got a great season ahead of us because they're going to be forced to keep hanging out with each other. Like it's got to be torture for Shannon on top of Alexis. And by the way, Alexis, I think, is just really happy to be there.
Yeah, it's clear that she is. Like, even her talking to the tarot card reader or whatever, she's like just doing activities at this event. And then she sees Shannon come in, and then that's when, you know, she feels like she has to be activated. But it's almost like this is a scene from The Office. They have this conversation. Then after it's over, Shannon looks directly at the camera, and she gives like a two-liner. and she makes this facial expression, and I'm like, you are Angela from The Office.
Yeah.
If Shannon would be Angela. I just want to
Yeah.
make that
No.
very clear.
Well, I mean, it was fun. I did catch that direct look to the camera when
Mhm.
Alexis walked off, and I was like, brilliant. And then you had Tamra inside going, okay, they're coming back, scatter like cockroaches, which I'm like, that's how Tamra spends probably a lot of her
Yeah.
life, is scattering like a cockroach after she eavesdropped on a situation. But I'm like, we have so much in there. Like, we have the Alexis Shannon, we have the Shannon John Jansen, we have the Shannon Tamra relationship, we have Heather Dubrow buying up more property. We have Gina. She should be on Selling the OC. She's now a high and mighty real estate agent that also has problems with her nicest boyfriend in the world. We have
Mhm.
Emily having like a workout like renaissance, raising her family. Immediately, Shane pokes her butt in the first scene. That's amazing. We don't know much about Katie yet, but I'm excited to get to know her
Yeah.
because Sutton
Sutton likes
referred
her.
to her.
I
Sutton was
trust
like,
Sutton.
I'll say, I love Katie. You should go. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, there are so many little things to look forward to in this season on top of Jen Pedranti and whatever is going on with her fiance, Ryan.
Ooh. I want to add. Okay, so I was thinking this too. Alexis Bellino reminded me of someone, and I couldn't put my finger on it until today, until I rewatched this episode, guys. And she reminds me of Trisha Yearwood. And I want to know, and I don't know if it's her hair, I don't know if it's her morals.
Johnny J is Garth Brooks or
And
Girth
I
Brooks.
believe it.
He's Girth Brooks.
He's Girth Brooks. And that's all I see now. I feel like they have the same morals. They're just equal. They're the same person.
Wait, can I ask you? Wait, Aaron. What? I mean, listen. We know her as Jesus Jugs. She was very religious. Her and Jim
Mhm.
Bellino. But then in the first episode, like, first off, would you brag about having sex with Johnny J all night, like, and being sore from Johnny
No,
J? And then secondly, I
no.
mean, I'm not like, well, what happened with the religion aspect of it? Like, and I'm so confused. Like, would you be talking about that on camera? And also, I mean, I don't agree. Like, but wouldn't you wait for marriage if you believe in the principles of Christianity? And then also, Johnny J supposedly told Shannon that like she's too public and has made a mockery of his family. Then why would Johnny J want to date somebody that is in that? Like, isn't that making a mockery of his family and himself when Alexis Bellino
Absolutely.
brags about how many times that they pork a night?
Absolutely. But that's that, and that was going to lead me to my next question because I was going to ask, do you believe this relationship between Alexis and John is real? And I
Yeah,
don't
I do.
believe it's real. Oh, you
Oh,
do?
yeah, I do. But well, okay, listen. I think two things can be true at once. I think it
Mhm.
was very convenient for Alexis to get back on the show and Johnny J to. I think Johnny J likes low level fame. I think he likes to be talked about. I think he hates Shannon Beador. I think that those things are very like a powerful aphrodisiac that can
Yeah.
then put two people together. They're both like decent looking, like like, yeah, why aren't we hooking up? I mean, they just went overseas last week on a trip. Like, I believe this isn't like I was about to compare them to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, another, relationship people think is sometimes a PR relationship. But no, I think it's real. But I think it started as probably a little bit of a LOL, a little bit of a joke, and like, wouldn't it be funny
Mhm.
if? And then I think, but also like what I consider love and what they consider love are probably two completely different things. Because
Yeah.
then Johnny J, John Jansen, like, does he have to hang out with Jim Bellino now?
I hope not. I would hope
I,
not. Maybe.
yeah, I don't know. I'm
Maybe they
curious to see where this all. I mean, I don't know. I don't mind having Alexis back on the screen. Like, I don't dislike Alexis. I dislike John Jansen.
I'm just confused though. That's my thing. Like maybe if I think about it hard enough, I won't be so confused because I feel like this is Alexis. This is her end to the show. Like she's like, if I have John Jansen, I'm on OC. This is perfect for OC. I get what I want because we talked about her how excited she is too. It seems like she just wanted to be on OC. I really don't even think she has anything against Shannon. I really don't think her relationship with John is going to last long. I just think this is going to be her footing into OC. And then for John Jansen on his end, he's like, I get free clout,
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I
but
always
low
wonder.
level clout.
Yeah, I was like, always wonder for the men, like what clout does that really, like what does that give them? Like what hole is that filling up
Probably like
for
an
somebody like
Outback
John Jansen?
Steakhouse
Yeah,
coupon or
yeah,
some shit like that.
he's people say his name when he enters a Chili's or
Yeah.
something.
That's John. But I can't imagine that it's good publicity though, because it's like every time I hear his name, it's like it's attached to him
Negative.
being an asshole.
Yeah, but like that's the other thing too, is that in the last year or two, like it's not, I think it's always been this way, but it seems like the people that hate, like it's still a valid form of like talking about these people. It's like
Yeah.
we're still talking about them. We're still like clicking on it. We're still, like we're still listening to things that we hate. We're watching things that we hate. We're more excited to watch the scenes with people that we hate in them. And so it's a really interesting phenomenon that is not new, but it is one of those things you see a lot in Bravo of you're like, oh, I hate that person. Oh, because you want to rail on the scene. You want to rail on a scene so bad. You're like, oh my God, this is making me livid. I can't wait to talk about it and share it with my
That's
friends.
how I felt. That's how I felt watching this episode. And for so long, I'm like, okay, does Alexis realize how she looks on this first episode? It's like you come on the show, you bring up John Jansen. That's what your storyline is about. On top of that, you've known this guy for only like a month, and everybody knows it. Like everybody's talking about it. How have you fallen this quickly, and why are you up this guy's ass like that?
Well, you know what? And I hope we're not so concerned with Shannon, and I don't mean us, but the like housewives, that is not questioned. I hope she gets tough
Yeah,
questions of like, what the hell happened? Like, how did that realistically happen? And is John Jansen in this season, or is he just referred to as like Snuffleupagus that we kind of refer to him, but we never see him?
I feel like he has to be though.
He
I
has
feel
to
like
be.
Tamra would make sure of it.
Oh yeah,
Tamra's
damn.
on the show. She's absolutely gonna make sure John Jansen is on.
Yeah.
She's
I
gonna
don't
like
think
once she's done tearing Shannon up. I feel, and once she sees how strong Shannon is now, I think she's gonna kind of back off and start questioning Alexis. I think she has a person. She goes from person to person. It's gonna be Shannon first, then she's like, okay, Alexis,
no,
it's
I
your
see.
turn.
Well, listen, I was just looking at Instagram, and Tamra posted a shot of all the ladies and it said Real Housewives of Orange County back tonight, but she tagged all the ladies except for Shannon Beador and Jen Pedranti. She didn't tag Shannon or
Ooh,
Jen. And I was like, that is so fucking shady. Like you can't drop it. You can't drop it. Like that's where Tamra
no,
is. Like Tamra never clocks out. And I think that's why people that love Tamra love her, but like she never clocks out, but like she never has to, the spotlight is like I call it the hot potato. She never truly has the hot potato. She's like really savvy and smart and will always find somebody else to throw the hot potato to when any kind of tough questions come out about relationships or something. And that's why I think like she is a professional career housewife.
she is.
She thinks about it from all
Yeah.
angles and Shannon doesn't. Shannon is just existing.
Yeah, she just exists in the mess,
Yeah.
in the context. That's what she does. But y'all, this was a really great episode of OC. I would highly recommend watching. I know a lot of people are like, I don't know. Like, no, I'm telling you,
No.
I'm gonna
Wait,
make you
people are
guys.
like, no?
No, everybody kind of has this negative tone about OC. And honestly,
Really?
it's not anything personal towards OC. I just think it's been all the Bravo shows lately, if I'm being honest. But I do believe OC is a really good watch. And you guys should not even think about that season with what's her name? Uh
Noella?
Noella.
Yeah.
Don't think about that season, guys. Just
By
think
the way,
about the
that season
before
started
it.
off really good. Remember, like, who was the girl that was going to be a cast member that used to like date Brett Michaels and stuff?
I
And she was only
know
on it for like 3 or 4 episodes.
I've seen it, but that like towards the
Oh, and
end, I'm
Kid
like, this
Rock.
show is horrible.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, listen, this is what you're a housewife fan for, is that you put up with bullshit seasons that are
Oh yeah,
rebuilding seasons,
yeah.
seasons that are bad, because you know eventually you're going to get to a season where it all pays off. Like I'm not into sports, but all my friends that follow sports teams, they're like, this is what it is like to be a fan. You deal with a bunch of crap, but you invest in it because one day it's going to all come together and it's going to be a glory. Like think about Vanderpump Rules, had like 2 horrible seasons back to back, and then we got back on track. I mean, like it was horrible the way we got back on track, but we got back on track. And I think I think we're so exhausted from Scandival, Summer House. Like there were so many things. Like it's like a sugar crash. Like after Summer House and Vanderpump and these shows that like kind of consumed all of our discourse, it was like this sugar crash. And we're like, oh, is Dubai going to fill that hole? Is $1 Million Listing LA going to fill that hole? Is Real Housewives of New Jersey going to fill that hole? And I think Orange County is the first one. After I watched that first episode, I was like, hot damn, I think we got something here.
This is good. And honestly, I've been feeling that way about Jersey too.
Jersey, I just wanted you love Jersey this season?
I love Jersey this season. I think this is like amazing.
What? There needs to be a doctor that comes over to check you because listen, there are scenes that I like, but I'm sorry, I just don't
really.
You can tell I don't know. I just don't find it fun anymore to like.
This has been so fun for me, honestly.
But it's not even like because they're not like they're just staying away from each other. There's like, yes, I don't want to see Melissa and Teresa and Joey, but I feel like that divide has like infected the entire show where it's just like, like there was my favorite scene was that scene from a couple episodes ago when Margaret sent the screenshot to Dolores in front of Jackie. And I thought that's hysterical. That's a great Housewives move. And I thought they were going to build on that. And then it kind of deflated. But then even the glass incident with Jen Aiden and what's her name? Yeah. Like I thought, okay, that was going to be a bigger thing. And then it kind of, I don't know. I think there's a Jersey exhaustion where I don't know what you do with that show because I'm sorry. I think Teresa is such a legend and such a star that it is kind of for all intents and purposes, her show. And so I don't know, like, I feel like it should just be called Real Housewives of Teresa because she's at a certain level where I feel like we don't really invest.
That's the thing though. I don't feel like that this season. Like this is the first time, like normally I do feel like that all the time. Like 105% of the time. But this season, I'm like, this is the first time that I'm paying attention to the other people. I'm paying attention to Danielle. I'm paying attention to Melissa Gorga. Maybe because they have the camera in their face like every 5 seconds.
Melissa wasn't even on the episode last week. Like she was barely on it. Like,
well,
what are you paying attention to?
Okay. Well, that episode
okay, Aaron, what did you think when Joey was doing the minister at the gay wedding? Like that was like, hey, I found out you like to suck dick. Yeah,
it was very cringe to me, honestly, watching it. I'm like, okay, I get it. I understand what they're doing here.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a moment for what it was, but I'm like, we could have honestly cut this out.
Well, I mean, it was funny. Like, it was funny. I thought if you're going to do it, make it more of a storyline instead of like a really quick clip of the wedding.
No, he's just like, hey guys, I'm not homophobic.
Yeah, he was just
and then it goes to the next
told me you like men. And I was like, okay, cool. But I thought it was going to be something bigger. But my thing is, like, I want to invest in all of these ladies, but then the discourse usually ends up happening between Teresa and whatever's happening with Teresa. Like, and I don't know the show itself, but then after the show, all we talk about, all that you see online is Teresa centered.
I don't know why though. That's the thing, because it's like nothing is going on with Teresa right now. Before I forget though, I want to ask you. So you don't really see it for Jersey this season. Do you see it for Dubai this season?
See what?
Like that magic. The Housewives magic.
Oh, no, like I see Dubai as like a really low level magic. Like it reminds, like if this show had been on, like I don't dislike Dubai. I watch every episode of Dubai. And I think there are certain things that really work. But I think, first off, it's the product of like having such a long gap between the first season and the second season. How are you going to build a fan base if you literally like don't air a show for a year and a half? Like, it's going to be impossible. Like, it's not even fair to those ladies.
It's like they have stuff going on, but how many times are we going to see that Caroline Stanberry is miserable? It's like she doesn't want to be she doesn't want to be in a relationship. She wants to be left the fuck alone. And it's very clear. Like every episode, I feel like we're touching on that. And I don't mind it because, that's what she's dealing with this season. But I do feel like there are a lot of moments where I'm like, okay, so what else? And then the episode is over and I'm like, oh shit.
Well, I mean, like what's wild is that if you look at the numbers, this past week was like a 0.267, which was insanely low. Like Summer House Martha's Vineyard was getting better ratings than Real
I
Housewives of Dubai.
agree.
So my thought is like they put. By the way, the show looks amazing. Like this has got to be an
They look
expensive show to
great.
produce.
Yeah.
It's got to be so expensive to produce. So do they give it another season or do they just cancel it? And I think one of my thoughts was like, did they already decide before the season aired that they're not going to continue with Dubai, and that's why they waited and just kind of threw it out there? And because they didn't even like try to like prep the audience for the second season. They didn't be like, here's where we are now, so you don't have to feel weird about catching up on a show you've never watched.
Here's the thing, guys, and I know like I don't want to say it because I felt like this year I was going to be different and I wasn't going to cancel shows. So I don't want to do that, but I do feel like at some point, guys, we have to come together and just say, what are we still watching on Dubai? What's happening on Dubai for? There's nothing in me that makes me want another season, honestly. Not
Aaron,
yet.
I mean, like you said, what's making us watch Dubai? By the way, nobody's watching it. Like we're watching it. Like we're watching it.
Oh yeah, no, but
I mean,
as far as like keeping it around, like when it's time to determine should we keep the show around or not.
Well, that's the thought, is that like what we were talking about with like OC, of like you deal with bad seasons because you know it's eventually going to get to a great one. But it's even harder on a show like Dubai where there's never been an explosive season yet. So I don't truly know what we're working towards. Like I don't know, because I don't believe Caroline and Sergio are going to split up. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's like a bit that they do again and again. And it's like, ah, ha, ha. Like, I think it's a little, I mean, like they hang out all the time still. If you follow their social media, like I know Caroline and or Stanberry and Brooks don't get along. I get that. Sarah is trying to find the love of her life. Like, I don't know, there's not like it's low level, low stakes drama, which I think used to really, be able to work on Bravo. But I think you deal like in a post Scandival society where you're expecting these large, like big moves. And I just don't think Dubai has had any of those yet, even though they have some star quality on that show.
It's like a bad Sets in the City reboot, I feel. That's what I think of when I watch it sometimes. It's like, especially with Sarah, like you said, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm a little interested in this, maybe not. Like, I don't know.
Dude,
I just
that
never
guy, but everybody's like, oh my God, that guy she's dating is so hot. But that guy doesn't even seem like he can like have like thoughts come out of his head. She's like, hey, what do you see for our future? And he's like, getting together and like married. Like he doesn't seem to be able to put thought. I'm like, you're so lucky you're good looking. Stop telling me
Yeah,
that good
because
looking people don't like have it better than us bad looking people.
you know
Like that
what?
guy is so good looking that he is able to be a full blown idiot on television. Like there's no thoughts coming out of that guy's mouth.
What if he's thinking like you guys aren't even gonna even return for season 3? So like, what does it matter? Like, what does it matter?
Yeah, but no, I think I saw somebody post like the only good thing about Dubai is this guy, and I'm like, that's how funny it is. This guy is like, there's nothing coming out of this guy's mouth, and you're like, it's the best part of the show.
Yeah, does he have a brother? I would like to see both of them on the show. Okay, so back to Jersey. Jen Fessler. This was her episode, I feel. And this is the most, like, honestly, I've never paid attention to Jen Fessler, ever. But this episode I did. Because of how many times she, like, when she came in that party and she's like, John Fuda did not say anything about Gia. She said that literally 7 times.
Yeah.
To the point where I felt like she should wear it on the shirt. It was really ridiculous. How do you feel about this whole thing that's going on with John Fuda, what he said to Gia? Do you feel like Jen Fessler is being Rachel's mascot?
Well, no, because I think she's also become friends with Teresa and Jen. So I don't think she's become Rachel's mascot in any. I mean, I feel like she's been, she's upset at Rachel this season as well. I don't think, but I just think at the end of the day, he didn't mean it the way in which it was taken. So she's like, listen, you guys are like Jen Fessler seems like she actually has, like, she can actually think clearly. And so I was like, listen, you guys are ridiculous. This is not what's said. Like, I feel like it also suffers from that thing where everybody has to, like, they're like hopping on a storyline. Like, oh my God, is this a storyline? Can we get angry about this? Oh,
Yes.
This is a storyline. So we all like rush to this, and you're like, that's not even how it was meant. So it's like, what a waste of time.
But that's what's so funny about it, because everybody just keeps ignoring her and they continue talking about it. And they're like, fuck what you're talking about, girl. Anyway, John Fuda was talking about Gia. And it's like, that's how it's coming off. And she's like, for the love of God, like, please stop saying that. And then she goes to Melissa Gorga and she's like, please stop saying that. She's like, oh my God, Melissa, John did not say that.
What do you think of Jackie Goldschneider this season?
I will say that she was missed. I didn't see much of her in this episode, but I'm here
this
for
season overall.
I don't at first, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think she was necessary. I feel like we have enough material. But the more I look at the show, I'm like, bring her. Why not?
Well, I mean, it is interesting in that she, in being able to be open to Teresa and Jen, she's now earned herself a place back on the show. Like, who knows if that's going to last next season, whatever they choose to do. But it is interesting because I think people are like, why did you do that? But it's like, well, she did that because look at her. She's back on the show now. She's back on the show. I mean, and I think that's what's so funny about that Margaret scene about sending the screenshot to Dolores is that, Jackie just kind of goes behind everybody's back and potentially talks shit about everybody, like whether it be Teresa, Jen. And so it's kind of like, I think in that moment was really savvy of Jackie, but I think the fan base is kind of like, what did you do? Like, I think it puts her in some murky territory with the fan base, but I think she's okay with that.
I think the real problem is like Dolores, because Dolores is kind of like on the fence with her. So everybody's like, and everybody likes Dolores for the most part. Like, I don't really know anybody that dislikes Dolores. So it's like, once you mess with Dolores, I kind of feel
I heard Dolores used to do coke with Gia in college.
Oh my God. For the love of God.
And John Fuda was the one that supplied those drugs.
Ryan.
Allegedly. Allegedly, that's what I had heard.
Please say allegedly, because I don't need John Fuda.
Allegedly.
Not even John Fuda. I don't need Jen Fessler calling me on my phone, telling me about
I don't think, by the way, Jen Fessler would never be the one that called you. No way. Jen Fessler.
You don't think so?
Smart. No, I don't think Jen Fessler. I think you would hear it from Teresa. Do you have Teresa's name do you have Gia's name in your mouth?
I do feel like Jen Fessler is invested in saying John Fuda. Just his name. I just feel like this is like,
she just likes the way it rolls off her tongue. Yeah.
I think this is her new thing. I do like how Gia handled the situation, though. I actually like that we're seeing more of Gia, and I think that's the difference between a lot of Housewives franchises in Jersey. The kids seem to be getting a little bit more involved, specifically Gia.
Yeah, Gia, but I mean, I think if Teresa ever does step away from the show, it's going to be passing the torch, and we will see Gia become a full-time housewife. She needs to get engaged, and then she'll be a full-time housewife. Like, I could see something like that happening, but also it is interesting. But it's like that legend of Teresa. The show is, I don't know. It's just interesting. Even thinking about the press, like Teresa this week was on like live with Kelly Ripa and Mark, and like she does like the big talk shows and the big shows. And I think some of the other Jersey cast, they just kind of like getting scraps because Teresa gets all like kind of the juice and the spotlight.
Yeah.
But it is interesting, like somebody like Rachel Fuda. It's like believing in the boogeyman. Like, some of those cast members really believe in the legend of Teresa, and Rachel just doesn't at all. She's like, I don't care.
But I'm kind of with Rachel. Like, not in the sense I like Teresa, but I'm kind of with Rachel in the sense where there's so many other things going on. It's like Teresa is like, just, this isn't a big deal. I think
Yeah.
aside from the John Fuda storyline, what does Teresa really have going on right now?
Well, I mean, what happened to that scene in the preview about Teresa and Louis fighting about finances? Do you remember that from the trailer?
Yeah, that might be coming later. Do you
Well, we
think?
only have 3 episodes left.
We have 3 episodes
Yeah,
left.
there was a commercial the other night on Bravo going 3 episodes left.
Until what?
The finale.
But this is like literally the 3rd episode.
It's the end of the season. Like I'm not making this up. It's done.
But how? Like when I feel like I just seen the premiere like maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
No, there's been like 8 or 9 episodes, haven't there?
This is crazy. Like, I don't believe this. It could be true.
No, I'm not. I'm definitely not making it up. I unless somebody.
Yeah, like I wouldn't think you would lie to me.
Yeah, yeah. It's like somebody filmed a fake commercial and made me believe it.
Wow. Yeah, it premiered in May. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
So what now?
Yeah, I mean, short and sweet. And by the way, remember, they're not doing a normal reunion for this. So I don't know what's going to happen.
But you know what? The more I see, the more I'm like, they don't need one. I really don't think they need one. I think the last episode they should just all fight.
Well, I think that's what happens. I think the
Yeah.
poor Rails restaurant gets torn down to the ground.
I would like to see it. I would like to see it. That's how I feel though. I feel like everybody should just fight. I feel like it should be John Fessler, Rachel, Teresa, Jennifer Aiden. I don't even want to put Melissa Gorga in it. I'll just throw Danielle in it.
So
They
you
should
think
all
it should
just
be
fight.
like the event, like the end of Avengers Endgame
Yeah.
or something? Like just
They should all just
epic
fight.
battle. All just fight.
That's what I would like to see. They just go for it.
I do wonder what happens in this last episode that makes it so that there doesn't need to be a reunion. Is there because we know there's not a full-on brawl, because if there was, everybody would have been suspended.
I feel like there has to be something with Jennifer Aiden though.
What if Jen Aiden like brings in a photoshopped photo of Rachel Fuda doing something with a male penis, like allegedly Kenya did?
Then this could be like Housewives, and then she's out of here. But allegedly, Kenya, like that's what I'm saying. I don't even know what's true and what's not, because allegedly, Kenya was not fired.
Yeah, that's what I just heard this week. Like that's why I'm so confused. Is that like we heard
And
one thing
they're
like
not
3 weeks ago,
and they're like sources close to Bravo. Like, no, Bravo needs to release a statement saying what's going on. So it's like we can.
You know what I think? I think they're waiting to see what Kenya's next move is, because Kenya kind of like hinted at legal, like
Where I'm hearing that it's also messing up her shit. So I would hope soon, because now like some
Sally's
of her
beauty supply stopped. Sally's beauty supply stopped carrying Kenya more
products. So it's like,
yeah,
she needs to get that shit together. I would hope like today. I don't know.
Kenya, call Aaron if you're listening.
Yeah, listen, I can tell you guys. Jen Fessler called me too. Like, I don't know. I'm interested in
Wait,
now.
Aaron, your last name is Marcellus, right?
Yes.
Why are you smiling? Is that not your real name? Is that like a stage name? Well,
no, absolutely.
I went and saw Patti LaBelle the other night at the Hollywood Bowl, and she sang like 3 duets, and the dude's name was Aaron Marcellus, and I was like, holy shit, Aaron, Bravo Aaron.
It was me.
Sings with Patti
LaBelle. Did you see me?
No, it was not you. It was definitely not you. I saw all 3 songs.
Are you sure?
Was it you?
It was me.
No, it was. Stop. I'm not that
Ryan, it was definitely me.
Sing it. What songs did you sing? You don't see? Screw that.
All right.
But by the way,
guys, I'm done here. Because I have to go take my medicine, guys. I forgot. I have a memory loss, guys. But Ryan, thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully you come back very soon. Is there anything
you guys are always welcome on my show? I told Kaya that.
Listen, we're trying to come on, because one thing that I love is coming on somebody else's show. Like that's the best because then
Yeah,
I
because
could
you don't have
just
to
like
edit it.
I
You
don't
can
have to
just
edit it. I don't have to. Well, I don't have to edit now, but I don't have to. I don't have to censor myself. I can just say whatever I feel.
oh yeah, I'm dirtier here than I usually am on even my
Yeah.
show. So
And now I have an alias.
Aaron Marcellus from Patti LaBelle.
No, it's Beerin. Beerin the Cloud. Beerin Nicole Cloud.
That's your alias?
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, we can't
Yes.
have wait to have Cloud or Beer and Nicole
Beerin.
Cloud on the
Beerin
show.
Nicole. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to do it. Do you have anything that you're working on though, Ryan? Right now?
Just my life, just my health. No, I mean I do the show. I do the show so much. I mean, like I do that. I do the Patreon. We're gonna start recapping the first season of Vanderpump Rules over on the Patreon. So I think that's gonna be
Mhm.
fun. But no, man, it's just the show takes up a lot of time. So I really put all of my, oh yeah, I do Jeff Lewis once a week on Sirius Satellite, on Radio Andy, and that's been fun.
And you've
But,
had some people from Love Island.
yeah, I've had a lot of the cast. In fact, they're doing another banishment tonight, Thursday night, and I'll
Oh
have
my
them on the show
God.
next week.
It's too much going on. I just got invested in Love Island too, like last week. So now
Oh,
I'm all
really?
caught up. Yeah.
Oh my
This is
God.
my
It's
it's my
yeah.
life now.
Oh God, wait, because I watch Love Island UK as well, and that's a whole
Mhm.
nother mess.
See,
But
I can't do
it's a
two
lot.
because I already thought about that. I'm like, I can just do USA because that's what I'm on now. And it's like it comes on every night pretty much. So it's like I don't have time.
Yeah, tonight, brand new episode. We got part 2 of movie night, and it's gonna be great. But 3 people go home tonight.
3 people?
Yeah.
I imagine it's just like Catherine, uh Daya.
Well, I mean, maybe Daniela, if they want to upset Rob
Oh yeah,
and Aaron.
absolutely. She can go.
Yeah.
If not Daniela, I definitely think it's gonna be Leah because Leah doesn't really have a genuine connection with anybody.
Yeah, but Leah's a very not she's popular with that girl, that core girl group. I think she's one of the leaders.
Listen, and here's the thing, and a lot of people might disagree with this, but I do think y'all you remember that vote where she was on the chopping board with Rob and two of the newbies.
Yeah.
I do think had that been anonymous, Leah would have went home. But I
Yeah,
think
back
that
then,
pressure
probably.
of it not being anonymous,
Well,
everybody's like,
I think Janae and Kenny will take this whole thing. I think they'll win.
you think? I don't know.
No, not I mean, not in the sense of like they'll be in love forever. I think they'll because you'll win the cash money at the end.
Yeah.
You know, like Janae, I think is like Hakeem was on the show who got cast off a while back, and he was telling me that Janae has watched every season of Love Island. She's like a mastermind, and that kind of like got me thinking. But also, I think Janae is cool as hell. I think she's really funny. I think she
Yeah.
gets it. And Kenny is just like kind of like your average dude. And so I think potentially Janae could work this where she would win. I think Leah is too chaotic to win. I don't think Liv has a chance of winning, even though she's popular. I don't think Serena is going to win, but I think I could see Janae. I could see Janae going all the way to the end.
I could see that. Either Janae or Serena.
I
And
think Serena. I think Serena might have went too hard in the paint. Like went too hard. Too like she's amazing to watch, but it'll. I think it'll all depend on what happens tonight going forward.
yeah. I also know that Kendall needs to go.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, well, Kendall's another one that thinks he's a mastermind. Like Kendall thinks, like Kendall, the way he cheered on those guys in Casa Amor to like, do their shit. And then I think Kendall, I don't know if he'll be up on the chopping block, but I think he's playing to win. He's playing a real sneaky game.
yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing it, y'all. Let me get ready for tonight. Thank you so much again, Ryan. Make
Thanks,
sure
man.
you
This was a
guys,
delight.
this absolutely was. Make sure you rate both of us 5 stars. Head to Ryan's podcast. So bad it's good with Ryan Bailey. Head there, leave the 5-star review. listen to the episodes. If you're a Love Island fan, head over there. If you're a Bravo fan, head over there. If you're a Ryan Bailey fan, head over there. Just head over there. That's pretty much that's what I have to say. And make sure you
There's the
subscribe
door,
to
Shannon
Patreon.
Beador.
I think that's going to be a part of the title. So thank y'all so much. Bye.
Bye, guys.